Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You will not own anything and still you will be happy. Let us watch this short YouTube clip and then let's discuss it together.
We need to continue to step up in a coordinated way. BC actually was the canary in the coal mine for the problems we're seeing across the country around housing affordability. Home prices here started going up decades ago and people around the country started to notice, but a lot of them, and governments in particular, ignored those warnings. Inaction by successive governments of all orders, investors buying up homes meant for middle-class families, and old-school zoning laws that didn't let communities grow in ways that kept up with Canada have brought us to a tough spot here in BC and right across the country. An ambitious and fundamentally practical new housing program that is going to turn underused public and nonprofit land into affordable rental housing for the middle class. They've started with over 20 different sites where they will take parking lots, underused land around healthcare facilities, potential buildings on top of daycares, and work with partners to build apartments that meet the needs of middle-class Canadians and their families. Part of that is working hand in hand with First Nations, but let's remember that these won't be your typical tiny one-bedroom units that have been popping up across downtowns across the country. These will be units of all sizes, including up to 3 or 4 bedrooms, the kind of places where families can grow and they can call home. And they'll be made available to families based on their income on a community-by-community basis, truly targeted for the middle class. This is a demonstration of how you build homes for people to live in, not just to pad investor portfolios. BC also recognized that this housing crisis is urgent, so as part of this program, they're going to speed up construction, cutting timelines by more than half. Exactly the kind of visionary, progressive housing solution that people need. BC is providing $2 billion in low-cost loans so we can build more homes for the middle class faster. And the federal government is now doubling that funding, putting another $2 billion from the federal government's apartment construction loan program into BC Builds. This will support, at a minimum, 8,000 to 10,000 new homes over the next few years, with more to come as even more land is secured.
All right, so far it is pretty clear. British Columbia, Vancouver, it's one of our most expensive cities in Canada, and obviously Toronto is to follow. So as you saw, that basically the entire story is about the government trying to help and stimulate the economy and building rental units for the middle class. Exactly, right? I mean, what are you gonna do with a 3-4 bedroom condo or a townhouse, or like there obviously is gonna be somewhat of a semi or high rise with 3 or 4 bedrooms and stuff like that, right? I mean, will it help? Obviously, but on the long run, I mean, what does this gonna look like? Like, what is that going to look like, right? So if British Columbia, Vancouver is adopting it, the next one obviously is Toronto probably, and then all the other cities like Calgary and Edmonton and all that stuff. So what about owning real estate? Like, what about the generational wealth, like, that we're trying to leave for our kids moving on forward and whatnot? Like, so those are all the questions that we have to ask ourselves moving forward. Like, you think about that, right? Like, if you start renting a place like that, it might seem fine for the time being, or for a long time it might seem fine, but what will you gain from that, right? Like, and then who will control the rent moving forward, right? Like, you know, anything from November 15th, 2018, if the building or a condo property was occupied from November 15, 2018 there are really no rent restrictions. So which means the landlord can increase the rent as they please, really, right? So the market will determine the actual rent price. All right, so now moving forward, obviously these rents will be determined based on the community and the location, right? So there's another segment that will involve the category of the community, schooling system, and everything else. Like, you know what I mean? So how much of control plus the future wealth that I'm assuming you want to leave down your line or generations or whatever the case is, it's pretty much obsolete, right? So I don't think it will solve any issues. It will just add to the issue. And finally, what is the actual solution? So the solution is for you to get in the market as soon as possible. Obviously, buy a property that you cannot afford, even though if it's not in the core, if it's not in the city, try to purchase a property really anywhere you can get your hands on at this point and try to build some equity. And in the meantime, if you have to rent in the city, so be it, right? But at least you will have something in a decade from now, if you cannot move right away, that you could actually go back to and try to maneuver something, at least deal with some equity or something like that, right? So that would be probably the best suggestion for now. Now there are huge indicators when it comes to interest rates that they will go down within the next year to 2 years for sure. So we all know in the historical patterns and moments, as soon as that happens, the real estate prices will go up. So I think now it's a perfect time, is that little buffer of 3 to 6 months. If it's something that you cannot get your hands on immediately or right away, I would suggest like new condominium project that you can park your money and let these developers and builders deal with your equity for the next few years. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this channel. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.